Hello. I'm going to call our Personnel Committee meeting to order here on Thursday, October 12th. We have an agenda before us. Dr. Hummer, anything new to add to our agenda?
No, Mr. Chair.
Okay, good. Mr. Hester?
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Good. I'll second that. So we have an agenda. There is no unfinished business, so we'll go straight to staffing updates. Dr. Hummer.
Yes, Mr. Chair, if I can just go through the agenda really quick. We have 4 items for you this evening. We're going to talk with you about staffing updates. We're then going to be talking about our new staff recognition process. We wanted to get some feedback from you all. We're very excited about this new process that we're going to be rolling out this year. We also have an update for our FCPS 101, which we are going to be continuing with. I know that is a big tradition here in Frederick County, so we want to share with you what our steps are with that. And then we do have some policy updates that we wanted to bring to your attention. So of these items, 3 of them are for information, and then we are recommending that we take the policy updates to the full board for approval this evening, sir.
Good.
So
Okay.
I'll now pass it off to Ms. Frackley. Thank you, sir.
Good evening, Chairman, Board. Let's get started with our staffing updates. Here are our professional vacancies. This is as of 10/3/23. You can see, I'll give you guys a second to look at those. I'll point out that our area of need you'll see is still in special education. From roughly this time last year to this time this year, we're looking at a delta of 5 to 16, so that does continue to be a high need area as our trend continues from what you all saw last month. Any questions here?
I think we're good.
Okay. All right, so this is breaking it down by content area. So teacher vacancies by content. This is the same as last month. You'll see still the need in special ed and elementary. So in terms of coverage for these vacancies, we are utilizing long-term subs in 19 of the positions. And we do have a few instances where the ratios have allowed us to consolidate classes. But for non-classroom teaching positions, buildings are having to reallocate existing resources to cover in some of these cases.
Okay. Mr. Monk, you good? Okay. Thank you.
All right. Okay, our professional vacancies, teachers, admin, other professionals. So what I want to point out here is volume. So in that new teachers, the 201, so turnover is high, and that means that it is an increase in staff time and effort to turn over this many people in positions and still operate efficiently. So kudos to our HR team for doing a great job with that. But really just looking at it from a volume perspective and what that means on staff time as we move forward in teacher shortage and other areas of critical need.
Mr. Chair, if I may.
Mr. Monk.
One thing I think might be interesting, and I know we've seen it off and on a little bit, but just hearing and seeing kind of the new hires here, a lot of times we talk about it in budget season, the percentage of teachers that are 30 years, the percentage of teachers that are 10 to 15, but maybe just an update in the weekly around where those percentages are currently for some of our teachers now, given so many new hires. Just to know that if these new hires are new and beginning teachers, or if they're mid-career, kind of where we've landed with such a significant change there. So.
Got it. Great note. We can do that.
Thank you.
All right. Move on. Okay, our support vacancies. I believe these are the same top 2, 3 that you saw last month. So we're still trending lower than last year in these categories. We do still have a large number of vacancies in both bus drivers and aides and instructional assistants. And then within those IA positions, the majority of those continue to be in sped. But we are seeing an improvement in the school nutrition and custodial staff numbers that you see there at the very bottom, or close to the bottom. So that is a low number for us in terms of getting down there and whittling down and filling those positions, so that's great.
So I'll assume that Mr. Shepherd has a good, healthy sub-list out at transportation?
I think so. I think they're working on it. I know that they are constantly recruiting, constantly looking, but he's got a good handle on it out there, I believe, yes.
Okay, good. Because, I mean, you know, there's nobody to drive the bus. Bus not going anywhere. So
Right.
I'm just,
Right.
you know, that's one of those really critical.
Absolutely.
And we had some issues last year. I mean, big time, so.
Right.
If I may,
Yes.
this year we started the year fully staffed, which was something we were really excited about. The numbers have varied over the last probably 1 to 2 months.
Right.
With drivers. Not only do we have a sizable pool of substitute drivers, but we also, Mr. Shepherd's been very creative in the way that we've kind of looked at routing. So we still need more drivers. So that's a very important issue for us right now to fill those positions.
Okay.
All right. So before we move on, any questions about the staffing numbers?
No.
Okay. We wanted to give you guys a sneak peek of our new staffing recognition process. We're going to move from 2 categories, I believe, into 4 new categories to recognize, with a breakdown in elementary and secondary for Principal of the Year. So as you can see here, we're going to add Principal of the Year, like I said, elementary and secondary, Assistant Principal of the Year, Counselor of the Year, Teacher of the Year, First Year Teacher of the Year, and Service Personnel of the Year. So with that, very excited. There will be hopefully a monetary award associated with each category like we've been doing, so expanding that. The nomination process will be both internally and community driven to just really try to capture all feedback, all thoughts, all input to really bring forward a holistic candidate to those individual recognitions in a streamlined application process. So we want to make this easy on folks to apply, enjoy the process, make selection a little bit easier on those who are applying, and then of course on those who are selected to make the selections. And then really excited about the fact that we're going to have 2 recognition ceremonies at the end of the year, one for professional staff and one for support staff.
Okay, so they'll be at the end of the school year,
Yes.
May or June, whatever.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Just trying to broaden all of our recognitions and awards and accolades and acknowledgments, because we know how important that is to our students and our community too. To have them involved in the process is really important.
Yeah.
Can I just I have one question. So the service personnel of the year, does that encompass everybody outside of these? We already have a bus drive. I'm trying to figure out, this is in addition to what we
Correct.
already.
Yes.
Correct. So the
Okay.
service personnel will still have the breakdown of each of those categories
Okay.
under there. So
I got you.
Yeah, yep.
Okay. I just didn't want this just to be it. So there's, okay.
Correct. We're building on.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Adding on. The more
Correct.
the more
Great question.
recognitions we can do, the better.
Yeah.
So
And then I know there's some schools that have awards within the school itself too. So, I mean, we've got great opportunity to showcase a lot of the good stuff we've got going on.
absolutely. Absolutely. And that's so important, as we all know. All right. Any questions? Any more questions?
Mr. Monk, you good over there?
Okay. Awesome.
Don't be bashful.
I'm going to turn it over now to our new Director of Communications, Ms. Tara Helkowski. We're so excited about. She's here to give us an update on FCPS 101.
We've already gotten 15 emails from her. We know
Oh, so
her.
she's not new. So she's old news. Okay. Veteran, right.
Good evening, Chairman Lake and board members and Dr. Hummer. It's my pleasure to be here tonight to update you on the FCPS 101 program. And as you may know, this program first started in 2017 as a way to provide members of the community with an opportunity to learn more about FCPS and its operations, both instructionally and administratively. And the goal of the program is to equip the graduates to serve as ambassadors for FCPS in our community. Interested community members apply to take part in the program. And if selected, they join the cohort and attend monthly sessions throughout the school year. I first learned about this program several years ago when it was presented at a conference that I attended. I was really excited about, the thought of it and actually wanted to implement it. Didn't know I would be someday. And I asked to join in and listen as an observer to one of the sessions. And I have to tell you that firsthand I saw how high quality these sessions are. They are very interactive. For example, many of the sessions involve tours of facilities and school buildings and are led by staff and students. This wonderful program is offered at no cost to the participants, and that's thanks to generous donors. We get donations from First Bank and Virginia Property Group, and we want to thank them for that. Want to give you just some of the timeline. As I've gotten settled, I've gotten a chance to get this going again. And again, it's a great opportunity to do that. I am super excited to say that the application window is now open for this year's cohort. The deadline to apply is October 27th. At that time, a committee will review all applications and select this year's cohort. We will invite our alumni to join us together for a feedback session where we will ask them to help us fine-tune the program to make it even better. And that's going to be coming up in the next couple weeks. Participants in this year's cohort will attend 6 sessions. And we're going to start later in November and go through May. We're going to skip December this year. And we will be sharing the call for applications far and wide starting the next few days. So we're going to get it out to all of our family members. We're going to get it out to our community, put it in a press release, and really get the word out that we're going again. And I'm just thrilled to be a part of this, not only as a facilitator of this program this year, but as a learner. It's going to be exciting. Do you have any questions?
Yeah, I do. So the timing of it, you said you're going to close the sort of the application part of it the 27th of October.
Correct.
Seeing as how, like, 1 week later, we have the county election, and there may be some new people taking some new offices, both at the Board of Supervisors and the school board. I wonder if might we make some accommodations there to extend later on an application, invite to some of those new people. It's a great opportunity for them to find out about schools.
If I may, Mr. Lake, are you talking about new board members and new board of supervisors? Oh, they can come to every single session. They don't need to fill out an application for that.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and if there are additional folks that you're mentioning, we can definitely take that into consideration. I'm not trying to say no, but if you're in referencing to potentially the 4 new board members, 3 new board members, and then board of supervisors, they're invited. All 14 are always invited to these sessions.
Yeah, and we, as I think you just said, we're going to be kind of going around the division, and one night will be here, and one night will be over there, and
Different locations,
yeah,
correct?
because in the past it has been transportation. At least the year that I went as many times as I did, it was all at transportation, and that was, but that was pre-COVID. So.
Right. And Mr. Chair, if I may, we actually highly encourage all of our board members to show up for that, because it's very important for you all to mingle and discuss and have conversations with the current cohort, and also to get a refresher on the things that are happening in our school division. I think it's good for all of us to hear that. I know it was really good for me because I was new, as you know, back in January, and I was sitting through these sessions and I was actually picking up on things that I wasn't just getting in my day-to-day. So it was very much appreciated. So highly recommend for all board members to participate. You do not need to fill out an application for that.
I'll speak on behalf. I actually am the only current member that's been through the entire program as a citizen. So I did this before being on the board, and I'm a huge proponent of this, just because it allows you to gain information that you wouldn't otherwise. You know, to run the school system, it's not just kids getting on the school bus, going to class, getting lunch, getting back on, and coming home. So. I advocate for this, and you know, those that are listening, please submit your applications. I do know that the applications have grown over the past couple years and has become quite competitive, and so there's a lot of applications and things like that. But it's a good program, and you know, anybody listening, please put in an application and participate.
Yeah. Mr. Mo?
No, appreciate it. Thank you, Mr. Lake. I'm simple today.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so we are going to cover a couple policy recommendations that we're bringing forward to you. So this is no longer just the informative part of our meeting tonight. This is the part where we're going to present these recommendations to you, and then you guys will take those forward.
Okay.
Okay, so I know this looks like a lot, but let me explain. So we are recommending that we flip-flop. We believe that 52P is currently the R, and the R needs to be the P. So we're just going to move the language accordingly and reallocate that. So 542P is P, and 542R is R. So within that, under 542P, we are going to include language that specifies that as part of the active retirement process, that you are in active retirement with VRS in order to be eligible for the continuation of group health insurance and payment of retirement supplements. And we're going to define what active process means. And you all will see this detail in your red lines. So that is to make clear, just to simply clarify and be explicit in that direction. And I will say that none of our protocol or process is changing. We're just refining it so that it's explicit and extra clear. This is how we've operated. We are just clarifying that in the policy to make clear. So for 542R, excuse me, again, we're going to reallocate that language so that R aligns with R. And then we're going to include the language specific to being in the active process, again, as we did in P. And here, we are going to include language that will stipulate that the retiring employee will be paid for each hour of unused and accumulated sick leave while earned at FCPS. So that is common in divisions around us, and that is not anything that we're doing different. Again, this is us clarifying our own practice. So we have been operating this way. We're just making that explicit in the policy. So to answer your questions from our earlier meeting, Mr. Lake, that it is common practice and done by our neighbors and such this way.
Okay, and so the point is that leave doesn't travel with you. You earn it at the school
For the
division you're at.
purposes of retirement,
Right.
what you earn as an FCPS employee is what will be paid out for sick upon your retirement.
Right.
Correct.
Right, okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And that's done by our neighbors, as I said, it's common practice in the state, so.
And Mr. Chair, just to clarify, the leave comes with you. So it's not that the leave doesn't come with you, it's just you don't get paid out if you retire while you're in Frederick County. Want to be clear on that.
Paid out for anything that was brought.
Correct.
You get paid out for what was accumulated as an FCPS employee.
Gotcha.
Yes. Questions about that?
Want to do the motions as we go or at the end?
Are we going to do them all collectively at the end, or do you?
You want to?
I would recommend separately, sir.
Okay.
Okay.
Then, Mr. Chair, I'll make the motion to move policy 542R and 542P with recommended changes to the full board for consideration. Is
Okay.
that wording okay for you guys?
Mr. Chair?
Yeah.
Yes, that is accurate, and we just need to be careful on this, so I'm kind of looking at Amy and Mrs. Jordan as well. The school board doesn't approve regulations. However, since we're flipping the letters, I want to make sure that we're approving the right thing. So is it okay to say we're switching the letters and approving P? What would be the right language for that?
I think we'll probably separate them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we can, well, it's tricky because right now, what we are, so the policy part and the the policy part is going to be changing to the regulation. So that policy is going to need to go to the school board, even though it's going to be flipped to become the regulation, because it currently is a policy, and we're going to have to switch it. And then the proposed P will become policy. So it's a little tricky, but essentially what the board is going to need to do is approve changing the current P to an R,
Okay.
and then adopt the proposed new P.
That's
Okay.
exactly what I was thinking.
Yes.
So motion to what she said.
believe that's what-
Hopefully
I believe
that
that's
makes
what she
That's
said.
exactly what you said.
So we'll separate them.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
Mr. Monk? I think Mr. Monk has.
Mr. Lake?
Yeah.
Just a quick question related to that. I guess the documents before me, I don't know if I have the correct documents. I've got two of the same. Are there other?
You have a,
One do you have?
You have a stapled one and an individual one?
No, I've got 542R, or used to be P, that it would be redlined to R.
It's clear as mud, right?
Yes.
You say that
Sorry
again,
about
Mr.
that, Mr. Monk.
Awesome. Okay.
Okay, so we'll separate them out, correct?
Yes, sir.
And everything she just said.
all right.
Can I,
So, yeah, let's go.
so I make the recommendation to move 542R to the full board to 542P. Oh my golly day.
We're just moving it to the board. Yeah.
So the motion should probably be move 542, the current 542P, I'm sorry, I'm trying, my pages
We just
are all
want to
mixed
move it
up.
to the board for consideration, right? The board will actually make the adjustment itself, I'm thinking.
We have to make the motion to go to the board. We need to know what that motion is.
So would we say current 542P and current 542R under the changes as presented?
Yeah, well, so I would actually say the current 542P and the proposed 542P, because that's the policies, not the regulations. So the current, to move the proposed changes to the current 542P and the proposed 542P, because.
So, Mr. Chair, if I can go ahead and clarify, if I think I understand what you're saying, it's, we are asking to have the current 542P move to 542R,
Yes.
correct? So that's the first motion. The second motion is then to move the new 542P to action as adopting that as the new policy. Is that
Yes.
correct? Is that clear now?
Yes, that is the.
So moving the current 542P to 542R, not,
But that's one motion in itself.
correct, but it's not, right, right,
Right.
Okay.
It will become the R, but right now it's the P.
right,
And so that has to go before the board for consideration.
correct.
So the board would
Mr.
have to move that.
Mr. Lake, if I may, and maybe I'm wrong, but if this board only deals in the policy realm, then would it not make sense for the board just to accept the changes to 542P as one motion, and the board would not need to take action on 542R because the board doesn't approve or change regulations?
Well, I'm trying to think of maybe a way to illustrate this.
Is it the elimination of a policy and the replacement of it, potentially?
Yeah, so what the board has to move forward is the current 542P, which will then become the 542R, which Dr. Hummer can do himself. So the 542P current has to move forward so it can be modified by the board, okay? And so that would be this one. I'm sorry, I have the red line, so that would be this one, because right now, this is the policy. It needs to become the regulation. But then, this is going to be the new policy, so it could be the proposed 542P needs to be moved up to the board.
Okay.
So, Mr. Lake, if I can kind of combine what Mr. Monk is saying and what Mr. Jordan is saying, is it fair to say then we would, and I think Mrs. Scott was just saying, can we just strike the current 542P? Could that be a motion, kind of like what Mr. Monk is saying, and then replace it with the new 542P?
Have to do that. In advance of the board meeting on Tuesday, redo these red lines. So you would have 542P, which is current, what's currently stated. Strike that text, add your red line document, your red lines for what you want that text to be. That doesn't change your naming convention. It stays 542P. You're just changing the text within it. So you could put forth new red lines for 542P, which would be revised from today, which would be the text that you want brought forward for 542P. 542R would remain 542R. That would still just be approved in-house, strike the current red lines that are proposed today, put a revision, and put the new red lines for
And that
542R.
would be one motion then, correct?
That would be one more motion to the full board recommend for full board approval of 542P. And we'll provide by Tuesday an updated version of red lines. Does that work for everybody?
I'm comfortable with that.
Okay.
Can I make a motion based off of what she just said?
So,
Seriously?
Basically, we're just.
can I just repeat, I'll make it simpler. What we're doing is we're striking the current 542P
Yeah, I got that.
and proposing a new 542P. That's the motion that's coming forward.
It would just be as simple as
May-
to approve 542P.
So I move to the full board striking 542P and replacing it with the new 542P
Done.
and moving to the board for full consideration.
I think we really just need to look at it as we've done policy in the past, that you're just moving to the full board for consideration approval of 542P, and we're going to provide revised red lines before Tuesday.
Okay, perfect. Okay. Can we just get a second before we have any other changes?
All right, I second.
We have-
All in favor? Aye. Okay, we have a new policy.
Okay.
All right. Next, we're looking at policy 539P. This is moving from bus drivers to drivers, and what we're doing here is we're trying to capture anybody that's driving our kids in any vehicle at any time. So before, the policy was specific to just school bus drivers, so again, we want to expand that to keep all of our kids under that umbrella. So we're adding the language to define aid, driver, and safety-sensitive function so that everybody's clear in reading that policy. Again, like I said, we're also adding language to apply the policy to those operating not only a school bus, but and/or any other vehicle transporting pupils, to include non-commercial vehicles. And we're also adding language where it impacts expectations of not only drivers, but our aides who are also on the bus for things like drug testing, et cetera. You'll see the copies of the red line. I don't think this is quite as confusing as 542, but we're certainly entertain questions
We're not having any questions.
as you have them, or if we've used up all of our questions already. But no, this one's pretty
Makes sense.
straightforward.
Yeah, it does make sense.
All right.
So I'll make a motion to move 539P bus drivers to just 539P drivers with the changes to the policy as stated, and move to the full board for consideration.
Okay. I second.
Okay.
Any discussion?
Mr. Chair, if I may, just quickly, I think the one substantial change that I see, if there are any, is related to now any teacher who might be providing transportation to students would be required to have a physical. How often would that physical be required? Is there an update of that, or is it just a one-time thing, or?
Do you want to answer? Okay. Designated car drivers is what Kristen's saying. I'm not sure that that's a frequently, maybe Dr. Hummer can speak to that more, or Mr. Goodwin in terms of, oh, sorry, go ahead. Yes, ma'am.
So the proposed change is to actually define driver, and a driver would be someone who is employed for the purpose of driving.
Got it.
So that is for the purpose of driving. It wouldn't apply to a teacher. If something special came up, I don't believe so. It is for people who are hired for the purpose of actually driving students.
Perfect. That
Because
answers-
they're the ones that have a significant amount of
Got it. That
things
answers my
that-
question. Thank you.
All right. Okay. Any other discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. We have a 539P drivers policy.
Okay, and lastly, 537P. So this is taking two separate policies. We're striking 557P in this recommendation, that being because they both address administrative leave. And so just for the purposes of streamlining for clarity for everybody reading and interpreting these policies, we merged language from 557P and 537P to sort of clean that up and streamline around administrative leave. So you guys have the red lines there, and we can certainly discuss and answer questions after you've had more time to look at it, or once the full board has a chance to discuss.
So again, do we, is this, in terms of what the board is going to do we separate these? Do we get rid of one policy and then accept the other policy as amended?
Yeah, Mr. Lake, so since this one's a little cleaner than the first one, Mr. Hester, since we're cutting this particular policy, that would be the first motion.
Yep.
And then we're merging it and making updates to 537P. So cutting 557P, and then that would be the first motion, and then second motion is 537, making amendments to 537P.
Yep.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion to strike 557P administrative leave and move to the full board for consideration.
Okay, I'll second the motion. Is there any discussion?
Quickly, Mr. Lake, you said ask questions, so I'm going to ask them. I'm sorry.
Don't be bashful, Mr. Monk.
When I just looked quickly at our website, I know there's other policies, thank you, Mr. Lake, that are after that. Do we, have we given thought to, should we adjust those numbers, 558 or so on and so forth?
Oh, in terms of like sequentially?
numbering,
keep it-
yeah.
That's a good question, and,
Not that
oh,
it's the
sorry, I
biggest
don't
deal.
know, Amy,
I'm
you
a tr-
were shaking your head, so it looked like you had an answer.
I know what has happened in the past, if those numbers have been, or if a policy has been deleted, we might reuse that number moving forward, but we wouldn't go forward and renumber everything if it didn't need to be.
Okay.
All right. Any other discussion? Okay, we have a motion seconded. Discussion is closed. All in favor? Aye. Okay, we have a stricken 557P.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion to move 537P suspension of staff members with the new wording as indicated to the full board for approval.
Okay, I'll second that. Any discussion?
We got a thumbs up.
You good? Mr. Monk, come on. Okay, no more discussion. All those in favor? Aye. Okay, we have 537P going to the full board.
All right, well, just to recap, we went over our staffing updates. You guys saw a sneak peek of the new staff recognition process. Ms. Halkowski gave us the rundown on FCPS 101, and we masterfully went through our policy updates.
It was brilliant, wasn't it?
So happy to entertain any additional questions.
I just had one thought, and with the new, I'm really excited about the new staff recognition process and those categories and things. And I know a lot of times the administration goes out to do the recognitions and things like that. Might I make a recommend? Is there a way to more like incorporate the students that into some of those recognition,
Great idea.
and whether it be at the ceremony, we have a kid come up and give a speech about why this person's, I don't know. Is there a way to incorporate the students of our school district into these?
Mr. Chair, if I may, I'm so glad you mentioned that. So we are starting a new recognition process through our board meetings where we're going to be recognizing a community stakeholder, a staff member, person I put in the weekly last week, as well as students. So we're going to be incorporating them more on a monthly basis, on a more regular basis. So we're going to have our student recognitions. So when our teams, which they will, win some state championships, we'll bring them forward, FFA, what have you. We'll recognize those groups, but then we'll also have these recognitions for students more regularly as well. And then if the board or my team would wish to see more recognitions, the answer is yes. We will absolutely be recognizing our students.
Well, it's not, let me go back. I think we do a great job recognizing students. It's more so in the process of recognizing these that were coming up.
As
Being a
part of-
spokesperson
Process.
for representing those.
Or perhaps
those
at the
awards.
recognition events,
Yes.
things like that.
I just love hearing our students talk, and if we can incorporate our students sort of presenting these humongous awards to our,
Done.
Yeah, that's a
Just
great
nice.
idea.
Love the idea.
Great idea.
Thank you, Mr. Hester.
All right. How'd we do, Mr. Lake? You good on time?
Yeah. Oh, I got time to get across town. Just to let everybody know, there's a Powder Puff football game at Millbrook tonight. So if you haven't seen one, it's quite the experience.
And Mr. Monk and I are bringing the eggs to throw at the ref, because I hear the ref for that Powder Puff game's a little scary.
Yeah, he's a jerk. Anyway, any more comments, Mr. Monk? Mr. Hester, anything from you?
No, good luck at that Powder Puff game.
Mr. Hester, anything from you?
Oh, you want that? Do you have somewhere to go? No, I do make a motion to adjourn.
Second, all in favor, aye. We're adjourned. Thank you.